Vampires, hunters, and bears. Oh my. If there's one genre I've always been hooked on my entire life, it's definitely mystery. The paranormal and the unknown were always super interesting to me, and I always strived to find answers. So, naturally, I gravitated towards the mystery genre. There was a level within a game that encompassed this feeling of mystery perfectly, and that was Clueless in Seattle, on the Mystery TV network in Gex 3. Clueless in Seattle was a world I popped into frequently just to rummage around. I loved exploring the interior of the mansion, and it was a lot different than mansions I'd explored in other games. The amazing thing about this level was that it was a culmination of many different references. The level itself gives off a strong Clue vibe, as the name itself hints at. Around this time, we also had received a Clue game from a cereal box, so the theme of murder mystery was fresh in my mind still, upon picking up Gex 3. The music in the level was a tad eerie to me as a child, but I think that's because it reminded me of the intro theme from Goosebumps, and that show freaked me out. The good thing was, this mansion wasn't too scary, but it was full of some pretty interesting things. First and foremost, you'll often run into some stuffed bears. It appears Chuck Testa was the previous owner of the mansion, and began foreshadowing the horrors of Five Nights at Freddy's many moons ago. The bears romp around aimlessly and tower over you, but are mostly harmless if you just stay away from them. Upon exploring the mansion further though, a character representing Van Pelt from Jumanji can be seen wandering around the mansion, constantly telling Gex to hold still while he shoots. In Jumanji, Van Pelt pretty much misses every shot, and apparently can't hit moving targets, so it totally makes it appropriate for this character to say this. Perhaps that's why in this game they simply gave him heat-seeking bullets, as sort of a joke. It's also possible this character was inspired from Colonel Mustard from Clue, or even General Zaroff from The Most Dangerous Game. Upon exiting the back of the mansion through the pool room, that's the wrong pool room. Anyways, the player finds themselves within a hedge maze. Anyone who has watched The Maze, or The Shining, knows that hedge mazes only lead to trouble, and this one is chock full of enemies. But the hedge maze was by far my favorite place in the mansion. For some reason, it reminded me of exploring on Halloween night as a kid. I loved the splashes of color throughout the maze too. Banjo-Kazooie featured a hedge maze as well, and while I enjoyed that level too, there was something about the Gex 3 maze I couldn't shake. I had the pleasure of going through a maze of twisted roots in real life during a trip to Texas one year, and it was kind of cool to experience something similar. As a child, I never got to go inside an actual mansion, so this mansion among others were the next best thing. Recently, I got to take a trip through Mark Twain's house, and although they didn't let me take photos inside, it was quite the experience. However, this mansion within this televised world of Gex will always remain in my heart. From the chalk body outlines to the pixelated night sky, there's a lot to cherish, and it has a definite place on my childhood's timeline. And with that, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Pixel Portals. But since we're on the topic of murder mysteries, do you have any favorite mystery books, movies, or shows that you fondly remember? Or perhaps you have your own memories associated with Gex. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please share them in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in to our murder mystery extravaganza. If you'd like to join us on our YouTube voyage and frame Colonel Mustard with a lead pipe in the library, then the subscribe button is just what you're looking for. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and until our next video, cheers. You've made it to the end of the video, but wait, your quest isn't over yet. I hope you've enjoyed this Sherlock Holmes analysis of the mansion. If you haven't seen our previous Pixel Portal episodes, perhaps you'd like to check out the Sunken Ship or Dragon Tooth Island. We'll be sure to tackle more places in the future, but in the meantime, I hope you enjoy.